So, Bill, what's that thing that guy will buy for $1?
Hookers.
Welcome back to the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris, that's Bill, and today we are watching Robocop 3 from 1993. So, Bill, what did you think of Robocop 3?
I miss Peter Weller.
I do too, but I like this movie more than I thought I would. And I've seen it before, and it kind of gets a bad rap of being the lesser Robocop movie, but...
In some ways, it is. But the thing is, I don't dislike it either.
Yeah.
I think it has an okay story. Its reputation is being more kiddified, and I do see that. But it's not that kiddified in a lot of ways, because how many movies aimed at children have freaking whorehouses in them and stuff?
Yeah. I don't know, definitely there's a new actor playing Robocop. I don't remember his name. He does an okay job, though. It's a little bit more noticeable when he is talking as Robocop.
I have a message from Officer Lewis. Please, officer, no loitering.
He just doesn't have the same, sound as Peter Weller.
Peter Weller normally sounds like a robot.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Clarence Bodiger, you are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent.
This guy, they modulate the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Because they were just trying to, I guess, hide the fact that it was a different guy, but did it poorly. Honestly, he sounds better when he has, the helmet off and he's talking more normal.
Yeah.
I know he was, one of the reasons why this guy was cast is, for budgetary reasons, they were like, look, we're just reusing the suits from part 2. We just need to find someone that can fit them.
Yeah, which is fine. But, I don't hate this movie. I actually think I might even like it a little bit more than Robocop 2.
I think structurally it's superior because Robocop 2's all over the place, but I think Robocop 2's got more fun stuff in it.
Maybe it's the little kid in me that I like this movie, but there's dumb things like I like the gun arm. I like the jetpack.
The gun arm thing is so dated because it's he's got to take the hand off to put the gun arm on. Today it's just gun arm.
I know, but...
Or you think someone had the idea of well, what if a thing popped open and he had a little gun there?
It's just the action figure playability of the gun arm. I remember it as a kid.
It's the entire reason why it exists.
Yep.
The jetpack, the gun arm. It's action figure based because they wanted to market it more towards kids because they're like, man, kids really like Robocop. We should really make this more for them.
I also feel like this movie is, in the other movies, Robocop is a hero, but in this movie he becomes a superhero. And it's really dumb for reasons, but the reason why I say he becomes a superhero in this movie is he kind of is more of a freedom fighter in this movie. He's not really being controlled by OCP really at all in this movie. He's 100% against the evil corporation, and he's fighting other, I guess, similar robots to him, but he has an upgrade and he can fly. And the sheer fact that he flies is just okay, he's a superhero now. And I will say the flying looks pretty good in this movie. I thought it would look, I'm sure it's not great, but I thought it looked fine.
I don't know, man. Compositing's pretty not good.
To be fair, I did watch this movie on a pretty small screen, so maybe that's why it looked really good.
I didn't exactly watch it on the most HD new TV, but I was like, yeah, compositing's not great.
Okay. I still like it. Maybe it's some nostalgia. Even though I think as a child I did see Robocop 1 and 3 and didn't see Robocop 2 ever.
So I have zero nostalgia for Robocop 3 because I never saw it till I was an adult.
Okay.
So all my feelings of Robocop 3 are based on actually only 3 times I've watched it as an adult.
Oh.
And I think it's only been 3 times.
Okay.
It's possible it's possibly 4.
Yeah.
But it's most likely just 3.
Well, I don't know how to go about talking about Robocop 3 because I think there's a lot of good in the movie. I mean, it's got a lot of 90s or 90s isms in it. It's little girl, she's good at doing computer stuff because that's how adults thought in the 90s. It's just kids get computers.
Yeah. A little kid can hack Ed 209.
Yeah, I mean,
Granted, the entire point of Ed 209 is that it's crap. So, you know what? A kid could probably hack Ed 209. Ed 209 sucks. That's the whole point.
yeah, it also is like, even if you didn't hack Ed 209, it seems pretty easy to just be like, okay, immediately run underneath him and just like stay underneath his legs. And he'll eventually either fall over or just not be able to shoot you.
Please get out from underneath me. Get out. Done it.
There's also some things in the movie that's like kind of weird. It's OCP is bought by a Japanese corporation.
It's very of the time.
Yeah. Also, Zed from Men in Black is like the new, I guess, like CEO of OCP.
They say chairman?
Chairman?
Maybe. Either way, he's replaced the old man who's just, he's gone.
Yeah.
There's just like a vague line of dialogue, but it's like, yeah, no, everyone's expecting, remember what happened to the old man? We don't know what happened to the old man, unless you played Robocop Rogue City.
Ah.
I know what happened to the old man.
I will soon.
There you go.
I'm very excited to know. But now I'm excited to play the game. Screw this podcast. I'm gonna get to my console. But then modern video game. Yes, I can't wait to play this game. Oh man, download 1 hour. I want to play it now.
Could be worse. Try downloading Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I guess I'll play this tomorrow.
Yeah. Damn it. Oh well. Yeah, you know, I feel like this movie does take a little bit of time before you actually see RoboCop.
Good 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of worth it. You know, he's driving the police car. His opening is pretty cool. Like, we have those other gangsters in the movie, the Splatterheads. Splatterpunks. Which, it's just like, what's the deal with them? They're just, like, violent people that kill people for, like, literally no reason.
They're just psychos.
They are. They're very, I guess, like, 80s punk.
Yeah, even though it was 1993 at this point. Well, actually, this movie was held for years, so 92, 91. So
Yeah.
the 80s were still trying to die.
They kind of remind me of, and, you know, I'm sure this stereotype is of everything, but, like, in The Dark Knight Returns, you know, the Billy Berserk guys.
Oh, the mutants?
Yeah. They're kind of like that. I don't know. That's the name of the main guy, isn't it?
No.
I thought it was the big guy with, like, the, like, pointy nipples. Wasn't his name Billy Berserk?
No.
What is his name, then?
The mutant leader doesn't actually have a name. He's just the mutant leader.
Okay.
But the weird slang lingo of the mutant punks, someone does says, leader's Billy Berserk, man.
Okay.
But he's not, that's not his name. He's just describing him. So
Okay.
I understand the confusion.
I thought his name was Billy Berserk.
That's
but...
fair. You're not completely crazy.
Okay, good.
It's okay.
I keep getting these facts wrong.
But the thing is, it's like there's a kernel of something there.
Yeah. All right. But yeah.
You're not completely crazy.
Good.
But yeah, they do feel like something out of The Dark Knight Returns or something like that.
Yeah.
And, they kill a bunch of people.
They do.
Not as graphically as they would if this movie was rated R, but this was PG-13.
Yeah. It was a weird PG-13, but...
Yeah, because it is a very, like, who is this for kind of movie. It's like, okay, they want it to be for kids. Then, okay, you got a lot of, like, murders and hookers and suicides played for comedy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Don't get me wrong. It's the funniest parts of the movie are those moments, but you wanted this to be for children?
Son of a bitch.
Hey, watch the language. There's children present, remember?
Hey, there's a really weird part, and I don't know if you noticed this, but there's a part where the one guy is talking to Zed from Men in Black up in the office.
Right.
After, I think, his assistant, who's, the main guy giving the Dr. Lazarus shit about Robocop.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he just, like, dies or just goes away, but he's talking to the other guy, and Zed from Men in Black says something, and then the camera cuts away, and the guy's just standing there, and then you hear a gunshot, and it almost makes it seem like Zed from Men in Black killed himself. But then he shows up, like, later on in the movie, and I'm like, was that just, like, a random gunshot of somebody killing themselves in the building?
You clearly forgot.
Okay.
No, the guy who was given lady shit. When the guy who jumped out the building, he comments like, I'll just put a gun in my mouth and shoot myself. And then Zed fires him. He takes out a gun and he looks at it and he leaves. And Johnson looks at him like, oh, uh-oh. And like Zed starts talking to him and he's like, uh-huh. Then bang! And he's like,
oh, okay.
yeah.
You know what? Man, I wish I didn't watch it on such a little screen.
How did you watch it on your fucking phone?
I didn't watch it on my phone, but I watched it on an iPad. Because I literally couldn't watch it anywhere else.
But you should still have been able to watch how a scene plays out.
I gotta do something about the brightness settings. That's on me.
You just slide the thing up.
Yeah,
I know.
I know.
Come on, man.
It was a long week. I was tired.
It's always an excuse.
Oh, man. I feel dumb. But anyway.
Do you feel Billy Berserk?
I do not.
I feel a little Billy Berserk.
Oh, man. Not again. Yeah, I guess I just like totally didn't see the gun and was just like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah, like he gestures it in like his coat and then he takes it out and he looks at it and
man.
goes off forlornly to shoot himself in the head. In this movie aimed at children.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, watch the language. There's children present, remember?
It is weird.
Yeah, this movie is not like a lot of the edges are softened, but then there's a few moments like that where it's like, oh, that's crazy. Like how the little girl's parents were grabbed by the mercenary Nazis. Let's face it, they're basically SS guys, basically. And
Yeah.
we just find out later, oh, they're dead. They allegedly tried to escape. But let's face it, I'm just like, are those people just being taken away and murdered? Are they covering up genocide?
I mean, they are called like rehabilitators or something.
Yeah.
So it is kind of,
I mean, the main guy is dressed like a Nazi.
yeah.
So, I don't know. This is, somebody watched Indiana Jones or something. It's like, yeah, the bad guy should be a Nazi.
Yeah. It's weird that they're trying to build Delta City
Still.
and they're going to build it on the bones of Detroit, but there's a bunch of people living there. So
They're foreclosing the people left and right.
Yeah.
Literally smashing wrecking balls into people.
houses and stuff with people in it.
Yeah, just
It's a weird movie. I still like it though, for really dumb reasons. Because what other movie do we get to see Robocop steal a pimp mobile and do a car chase in a pimp mobile?
okay. See, that was one of the parts I did like.
Yeah.
That was kind of that felt like it could have been in any of the movies where it's like because it's absurd in a way that feels deliberate.
Yeah. It's like Robocop is driving a pimp mobile.
And it's like slowly getting just like blown to pieces.
Yeah.
Jumping around, I did like the visual. Like we see Robocop just lit on fire.
Yeah.
That looked neat.
That is cool. I do like how it's kind of a revenge story too. After Lewis is killed and
Yes.
Murphy is just, he plays that clip of her saying, "Get him from Murphy," and like,
And he goes to get them.
yeah.
He flamethrowers the hell out of that place.
I like when he just goes into the police station and then he just says to the one like police chief, it's just like, "Where are the, rehabilitators? They're down that way. Call the fire department."
It's like, there's a warrant out for your arrest. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Shit.
I do like how the police are like firmly on RoboCop's side. They get fed up enough with like OCP and they're like, yeah, we're gonna.
One of the most interesting parts of this movie towards the end is like the kind of disillusionment that the greater Detroit has with OCP as an entity. Like the police force quits and goes to fight for the people. We have the news break lady literally on air be like, "This is bullshit. This is all lies," and quits.
Yeah.
Because they're literally spinning a story where RoboCop killed a bunch of nuns and stuff.
Oh man.
Like, which also makes me think that those mercenary guys probably killed a bunch of
They
nuns.
probably did. 'Cause they're horrible people.
Yeah, they're bastards.
They're so bad that towards the end of the movie, the cops are like, "We're not gonna help you," and they're just like, "Fine, we'll get the splatter punks to help us."
Yeah, the murderous street gang to help maim and murder the innocent people out of their homes.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of weird. You know what's else that's kind of funny about this movie? It sort of reminds me of The Dark Knight Rises a little bit.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
Because you got the army of the cops fighting a bunch of criminals and mercenaries.
Yeah.
And then you got like a tank vehicle, and then the hero flies in and blows up the tank vehicle.
Yeah. And RoboCop's jetpack kind of looks like the Bat. Just a weird coincidence, I guess.
Yeah. Dark Knight Rises is a much better movie.
Yeah, it is. But still like RoboCop 3.
Look, they brought back the RoboCop theme, which was sorely missing from RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
And it's a great theme. They use it well here.
I think one real shortfall of the movie is there's these other cyborg guys that RoboCop has to fight. And I feel like they could have done something more clever with those fights.
There's nothing to them.
Yeah.
And they happen so quickly. Like the first one, it's so late in the movie too.
Yeah.
Because like that weird ninja robot is like hunting for him for like so long, and then he finally shows up and he cuts RoboCop up. I think the only interesting thing about them is like when they get punched in the face, like the jaw gets dislodged, and it's actually a pretty good effect.
Yeah.
It looks creepy.
Yeah, and the one gets its like face burned off at one point too. Kind of like Terminator-esque a little bit, but
Well, they wanted two on screen at the same time. We smash one's face up a bit. That way we can have the real guy over here and the guy with the prosthesis over here, and then they can just cut their heads off.
yeah. Because, you know, the whole time I was thinking about it, where it's just like, okay, RoboCop's going to fight another robot in this movie. And granted, the newer robot was, like, faster and sleeker, but, like, they could have thought of something kind of clever for RoboCop to fight him.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, more of, like, a tactical type fight or something.
I mean, just on paper, the idea of RoboCop fighting robot ninjas, it's like, ooh. And then
Yeah.
you see the execution, it's like, oh. Because I think I even saw the description or, like, read somewhere that it's like, robot ninjas. I'm like, all right. And I watched the movie, I'm like... Oh.
Yeah. Because the little girl hacks, like, the two of them to cut their heads off.
Because she can just do that from anything and anywhere.
Because she's got her little computer. Actually, that's not a little computer. That computer's, like, gigantic, actually.
That computer's the size of a VCR.
Yeah. I do like the way it opens up. It's kind of neat. It's very impractical, but, like, it's, like, weird the way it opens up. And you can tell the little girl's smart because at the beginning of the movie they say, Nico, are you done with your calculus homework? And it's like, why is that second grader doing calculus?
Obviously, she's gifted.
Yes. She's a hacker.
Because that was the style at the time.
It was. It's like kids understand computers and adults don't. Yeah, that's how it was.
So it still is.
But anyway, the ninja fights could have been better. The CEO of like the Japanese corporation shows up at the end.
He's not much of a character.
Yeah.
But he kind of just like accepts defeat gracefully, just bows and just walks away.
Yeah. There's that one scene where I think Zed is, and I don't remember that character's name, so I'm just going to keep calling him Zed.
Zed, Rip Torn, whatever.
Yeah, Rip Torn, Zed. He's talking to him on the gigantic video phone, and it's translating his Japanese into English with like a really like janky robot voice.
Like real life.
It's getting a lot better now. Getting to that Star Trek level where they can translate you in any language and it will be with your voice. Brave, brave, new world. Scary world, but new world.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about RoboCop 3 except I like it.
The story I always heard about RoboCop 3 was that the lady that played
Lewis.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot her name for a second. She insisted her character be killed off because she wanted out. But I just watched the making of documentary, and she wasn't interested in coming back because she didn't really have a good experience making part 2. But I think she was down, like, oh, you're going to kill me? That's fine, I'll do it, whatever. Like, it doesn't seem like she actually asked for that. It's just something they planned on doing.
Okay.
So I don't know how that got turned around. Maybe people just assumed because they were like, oh, she saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you want people to think you're smart, you just like, yeah, let them think that. I was ahead of the curve. I knew the RoboCop series was one movie away from dying.
I mean, to be fair, how many movies really went past like number 3 back then anyway?
Bond, Jaws. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
The
not a lot. It was like the trilogy.
Mostly horror
mentality.
movies, honestly.
Yeah, because there was never like a RoboCop 4.
No, not really. There was a TV show, a TV miniseries, both vaguely set in this continuity, and then of course the reboot.
Yeah,
And they keep trying to do something else, so
we'll see. I mean, now the real life OCP owns RoboCop, so and they keep saying they're gonna make something. So
like, maybe a movie, maybe a show, maybe both. And I'm just like, okay, but make it good and violent.
I mean, if anything, it's like we got that video game. That video game is pretty good. It's kind of amazing that that game exists at all. It's just like they made a RoboCop game for like next gen, and it's pretty decent.
Yeah, solid, good solid first-person shooter, made with love,
Yeah.
made with care. They kind of perfectly recreated like the police station and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, they just great attention to detail. There was like one thing that they didn't do right in terms of like details like that.
What was that?
So without spoiling anything, there's like it's like a memory flashback to his old home, and the interior is pretty much kind of what you saw in the first movie,
Okay.
but it's an apartment,
Oh,
and they say it's an apartment,
interesting.
but it was a house.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. They got every other detail right.
That's weird.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Couldn't help. Like I was just like, why are they saying apartment? It was a house. I saw the movie. You clearly saw the movie too.
Yeah.
You saw the movie more than me with all this detail.
It's like everything's fine except this one part.
It really kind of is.
And it brings down the whole game because of it.
Exactly. 3 out of 9.
3 out of 9. That's the scale.
10 wasn't good enough.
Yeah. That's the scale now. But anyway.
I don't know. I think this movie would land a lot better for most people if it was still Peter Weller as RoboCop. But
Yeah.
he got to be in a real movie around this time, and he was like, fuck that noise. And he never had to wear the RoboCop suit again.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hassle to get in that suit in real life.
I bet if they made it today, it'd be so much lighter.
Yeah. It's just like, by the way, you're not going to be able to pee for like 10 hours.
God, could you imagine?
So we're going to like kind of like position this bottle in the leg. So, just see what happens. But I mean, that suit, it looks great. It's one of the greatest movie costumes ever.
One other, I guess, issue I have with this new guy's performance is he doesn't have the robot body language as down as Peter Weller did. There's just moments where it's just like he's kind of just holding his hands out awkwardly, and it looks weird. It's like, why is he holding his arm out like this?
Yeah, when he's like looking up and down, that part is like kind of weird too.
It's like, no, you can just stand straight, arms down by your sides. It's fine. Like freaking RoboCop 1, Peter Weller's got the movement down. He knew exactly what he was doing. It was like,
Well, he had like special training. He like went to like a mime school or something. I don't know if the other guy did or they're just like put this costume on and try to act like RoboCop.
based on the documentary I saw, no, he's putting in the work, but it's just someone should have said, hey, what are you doing? Put your arm fucking down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
What are you doing? Pretending to play the piano?
Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Stop it. You look weird. We're trying to make you look cool.
Yeah.
Kids won't think that's cool. Because we're running the adults out with the PG-13 rating, so we gotta pander to children.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, watch the language. There's children present, remember?
Yeah. I wonder if RoboCop 3 had Happy Meal toys.
It wouldn't be that surprising.
Just like, here's Happy Meal toys of RoboCop 3.
Though this was already after. RoboCop 2 is the one with the weird WCW tie-in.
Yeah. And RoboCop 2 is definitely like the weirder movie, but I like RoboCop 3.
I feel more Frank Miller in that one than I do this one. Even though he is still credited on this one. But I don't feel it as much as I did in that second one.
Yeah. I think the first RoboCop movie is definitely still the best.
Hands down, undisputed,
Yeah.
undeniable. If you say one of the others is better, you're wrong, and what is wrong with you?
But I think the other two RoboCop movies are not bad. Like, you know, I think I like 2 a little bit. I like 3 a little bit more than 2, but...
I think I'd still pick 2 over this.
Well, with that being said, go watch RoboCop 3.
Or just watch Robocop.
Yeah.
And play the game. Game's fun.
I gotta play that game. I gotta play that game now!
You may want to call the fire department.